this guy who came out of nowhere from the South, from a farm, to be a naval officer and then a president and then a world leader who won a Nobel Prize, still remains sharp. And then the other picture there, which is really, I don't think any of us should underestimate in these times of bitter political division, the fact that Melania Trump is standing there says something important. It's, first of all, Rosalynn herself wanted to make sure that despite the political differences between the Trumps and the Carters, Jimmy Carter has criticized her husband, Donald Trump, saying that he was undermining democracy by saying that the elections are not fair. And in turn, Trump has really ridiculed Jimmy Carter. He said he was a lousy president and worse. And so Rosalynn said, times like this are important. The office of the First Lady, the office of the President, is something, it can come and go, Republican, Democrat. We all have our differences, but we have to pull together. And her family said that she specifically hoped that all the First Ladies who were alive would show. And we see there that we do have Republicans and Democrats, and they did indeed show a kind of a wish for Rosalynn Carter.
Mary, thank you. I want to bring in our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz. She's here in Washington. And Martha, undoubtedly, what we have observed about Rosalynn Carter since the age of 13, when it was just her and her mom after her father had passed, he wanted to see so much more for her, this young Southern girl in a small town. He wanted her to do well in high school, and he wanted her to be educated and for her horizons to become so much more beautiful than what he could give her at the time. And she did that indeed. She not only persevered, but when she met Jimmy Carter, this handsome young Naval Academy student, it changed both of their lives forever.
It certainly did. Her horizons were endless when she was young. I can't imagine her father ever imagined where she would end up. And of course, marrying Jimmy Carter, she got out of Plains, Georgia. He was in the Navy. He was a submariner. And by the way, the submariners are generally introverts, not Jimmy Carter. He was outgoing and warm and wonderful, and is to this day. But Rosalynn Carter loved being a Navy wife, and that is very difficult. She didn't want to come back to Plains, Georgia. She was finally away from her mom and away from Jimmy Carter's mom, and being very independent, especially as a Navy wife. And they argued about that, Jimmy Carter and Rosalynn, about wanting to go back to Plains. He had to go back and run the peanut farm. It's not what she wanted to do. But boy, when she got back, she put her heart into everything. And when she became First Lady, you know, seeing all those First Ladies together and what Rosalynn Carter meant to them, how she paved the way in so many ways for them to be independent First Ladies, to have their own projects. And there were others before, but Rosalynn Carter really, really made a difference in what she cared about. She was a full partner to Jimmy Carter. She is that one person who told him when she thought he might be wrong, or that he might think about something in a different way. And his respect for her was so vast and so deep. When she spoke, he listened. Kira?
And he is listening to his family now, giving remarks and final thoughts there inside the church. Martha, thank you so much. And before we return you to regular programming, we have more breaking news to bring to you right now. We understand that more hostages have now been released. 12 hostages, including 10 Israelis and 2 foreign nationals. They are on their way toward Israeli territory right now. We are looking at these pictures just coming in to ABC News. Let's get right to our Matt Gutman, who is there in Israel. Matt, as we watch these pictures, tell us what we know.
Carrie, we know, just as you said, that 12 hostages have been released from Hamas, handed over to the Red Cross. In southern Gaza, we saw the convoy of the Red Cross driving right near the border with Egypt. We understand right now from the Israeli military that they are headed to Israeli territory. There they will be met by a specialized Israeli military unit that has training in dealing with hostages. They'll transfer them to an army base here and then to hospitals in Israel. This is the 5th release in 5 consecutive days. That ceasefire continues to hold for a 5th consecutive day. That, as we understand, CIA Director Burns is in Doha trying to negotiate an extended hostage release period along with an extended ceasefire. Whatever the mechanism is that they are using, it is working. It took a little bit longer over the past couple of days, but this system is working. Hamas, of course, also getting the respite of those 5 days of ceasefire, plus the release of 3 Palestinian prisoners for every Israeli released. So it's over 150 at this point, we understand. And also that allows for the massive influx of aid trucks, at least 200 a day, not enough, but certainly more than it was in the early days of the war. And that has been critical because we understand the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is immense. The UN now saying there are over 1.8 million people who are displaced, 1.1 million, Kira, who are sheltered by the UN alone. Hunger is